Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let us. Okay. So CETL presents an introduction to the 360 camera. So the learning outcomes of this workshop are to define the characteristics of a 360 video, interact with 360 video and summarize the benefits of using a video in the classroom, identify the different shooting techniques, and recognize the steps to operate a 360 camera. So this here is a picture of the 360 camera. This is a INSTA360 ONE X2, which is the one that we are using in CETL. So what can the camera do? So the INSTA360 ONE X2 is a 360 view camera. So essentially what it does, it records its entire surroundings by using two cameras, one on each side of the device. So this camera as well has the best stabilization function out of all the current cameras available, which makes recording so much easier. It also allows you to use different shooting modes to capture videos or pictures. So why the 360 camera? So first and foremost, the accessibility of it. It cuts costs and travel time for students. It provides accessibility for students to experience faraway places without having to physically travel to them. It also gives the students freedom to explore. Students are allowed to learn at their own pace. It also gives you different viewpoints that students can focus on and really enhance their learning. It also brings in the immersive experience where the students feel more connected to the content, right? So the idea is that it allows the students to interact, which gives them that feeling of connectivity. And it's remarkably simple. The video recording is exceptionally easy, given that the Insta360 camera records its entire surroundings. It allows the teacher to essentially just hit the record button and allow the camera to do its thing. So essentially, it'll allow everything to be recorded, and then the teacher can later on go in and actually guide their students into what it is that they want them to pay attention to in the recorded video, or if it's a picture as well, they can show them, focus on this. So the first video example that I'm going to show you guys is called Walking with Lions. So in this video, we're going to get a glimpse at the everyday life of a pride of lions. So the reason that we're showing this video is because this video allows the viewer to feel as if they're walking amongst the pride, while also giving them the different environments that the lions live in. And one of the things that I want to reiterate is that a sense of real world scenarios will stimulate immersive learning. So here is the video of Walking with Lions. And one of the great things about these videos is that they allow you to turn. So if here, what I'm going to be using is the mouse to essentially turn the screen. And as you can see the hand on the screen, it looks like it's grabbing it. And I can turn it up, down, left, right. And if you're actually on a device that has touch capabilities, such as an iPad or your phone, you can also interact by simply just swiping. We have here our touchscreen, which if you're in CETL, you can come in and you can also enjoy these 360 videos. And again, it's so simple. You simply just swipe and turn as if whichever way you want to look. So this is the first one. This is the Walking with Lions. See, as you can see, there's a couple of lines in the background. So from here, we'll go to the next video, which the next example that I'm going to show you guys is called a fly-through Petra. Petra is an ancient city in Jordan. And this video, essentially what it does, it gives you a closer look of all the different views that the city has to offer, including the scenic landscapes that surround the city entrance. And again, a sense of real world scenarios stimulates immersive learning. And this video here, it works exactly as a line one. You can simply click and turn. And it'll allow you to see the entire surrounding. And I'll show you here one of the ways that this video actually guides the viewers, which is by simply putting a logo that marks the territory where the viewer should not be looking, should not really be paying attention to, but rather on the opposite end, which is at the entrance to the city of Petra. And this, as I mentioned before, allows the viewer to take a look, to actually pause, take a look at the surroundings, really get into the fine details of things, while also allowing you to turn and take a view of other things that you might not have captured from before. So from here, I'm going to go on to the next video. And this is actually the Holy Names University Campus Tour 360 video example that we shot using the Insta360 camera. So I will also give you the view of what it looks like on YouTube, because these videos are easily shared across YouTube. YouTube has a program in itself that allows the website to read 360 videos. So if we go in here, I'll full screen it so everyone can see. You can see the school. This is the view of where we started recording. And actually, once you're in YouTube, there is a certain way where you can zoom into things by simply just sliding in and out. So this is a way that you can have your students view things and really get into the fine details of it. So as you can see here, I was able to zoom in and I'll zoom out again. So you can take a look at all the different things. So if you want to show them here, you can show them the specific name of the building, or if you want to show them other things, as in how does the building look itself, maybe you're trying to look at the architecture of a building, or maybe you spotted something that you want to really zoom into, maybe some fine detail that was missed by another viewer. The idea is to give the viewers every possible angle, every possible view of what is being recorded, which gives you the feeling of both being immersed and being able to interact with the media. So I'll go ahead and log out of this, and I will go back. So in this next part, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be putting in the chat the links to the 3 videos that you can go ahead and interact with yourselves. So go ahead and take a look, take these next 5 minutes and really explore the video, see what you find. Maybe you find something interesting that you want to share with us. So go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah.
From folklore to myth to legend. The Basque is a story seeker's paradise, waiting to be experienced.
It is not often a mother has to lead her cub away from the pride, but it happens. This is Gibson, who has already lost a brother.
Okay, we have 3 more minutes to take a look. If you haven't switched the video over, I would suggest taking a look at one of the other videos as well. Okay, we have about 1.5 minutes. So go ahead, if you haven't already, go ahead and go to the last video and take a look at that. Okay, everyone. So continuing on with the workshop, our next slide, I want to have an open discussion with y'all. So first question, before this workshop, have you ever interacted with the 360 video before? Ichi?
I have. So actually, for some housing app like Zillow, or I have seen open house using 360 camera. So you can actually see the house layout using your finger. That's actually the only time I have ever interact with the 360 video.
Okay.
Like real estate, their website.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Has anyone else ever interacted with the 360 before this workshop?
Well, I guess the question is like, I've seen 3D effects similar to what I-Ching described on the websites. You know, like there are like 3D rotatable items, or like you kind of have a virtual tour in a 3D environment. So I've seen those things on the website. I just don't know if they were. My assumption was they were created by taking a series of photographs, which of course is what essentially the video is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they were necessarily generated from a 3D video, or if it was technology.
In this video, were you able to interact and like turn the screen and see different viewpoints? Was it very I guess the best way to describe it, was it very blocky, where like it seems that you could only go up to a certain level? Was it any different than the videos you just interacted with?
I don't remember because it was, that particular website was not something I visit regularly. It just was something I stumbled upon at some point. So I wouldn't be able to tell.
Okay, okay. Anyone else? Does anyone else have another experience that they'd like to share? Okay, so we'll move on to the second question. So how did you feel when you interacted with the video? Did you feel immersed? This is the first question I'd like to ask. Did you feel like you were there? Did you feel like, wow, I get to see these lines in action, or wow, I get to actually zoom in and see how does the ancient city of Petra look? Or even the simple video that we made of the tour here. Was there things that you saw that maybe you hadn't paid attention to before? Maybe you spun the camera around and saw a view of our church here at the school different, so maybe you saw something that you hadn't seen before? Oh, Glenn, I think we can't hear you, Glenn. I think you're on mute.
Well, I enjoyed the interactive aspect of that. I think what was, I could actually describe what I think felt different for me from what I've seen today versus the previous example.
Yes.
So in the previous example on the website, yes, it was some kind of a 3D virtual tour of the room. I think the website was, selling something related to interior, maybe like furniture, and it was showing that in interior, something like that. So basically it was purposeful for the website's goal. But it was no sound, so it was just kind of, okay, you enter the 3D space on the website and you explore the product in the environment. So it was more like product driven, a better view of the product, versus here it was more like experience driven because of the sound, and like you're looking at the video, but you're able to interact, like be part of the movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
It's more experiential, I would say.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. And Glenn, were you going to mention something?
Yeah, I liked watching the lions. You could move around and see the different lions doing different things, and being able to control that was pretty cool.
Okay. Good. Great to hear. Great to hear. Okay. So let me ask the third question. So how can your students benefit from interacting with the 360 video? And I know that sometimes it's a little different for us staff members. But just think of yourself, if you can't think of a student, think of yourself as a student. What do you think would be the benefit from interacting with this 360 video?
Well, just like I said before, like having a better experience of a place. I think, like for anything related to spaces and places, like art history or any kind of history courses, I think it would be like very enhancing to have that. Or like even if the course is not specifically about a history of genre, but or a subject matter, but it has some sections or materials related to historical context, I think it would be very cool.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Does anyone else have another view or another benefit you think that students or yourself can benefit from?
I can say a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a student, so I'm talking from students' perspective, I feel that when a piece of information is presented to me through photos or through written description, it's not as compelling as when this piece of information is presented in a multimodality format. It feels that I can retain that piece of information for longer. And also, I think what makes 360 video very different from regular video is that because I can interact with the video, it adds additional layer for me, I feel more engaged, and also, I don't know, that I just feel, yeah, more curious about the information presented to me, and I feel more likely to learn more about it. So I think that's for me from a student's perspective.
Well,
Yes.
that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would
Yes.
also mention that it's agreeing with I Ching that it's also a connection there. As you mentioned before, you feel connected to the topic, also the narration being guided throughout the video. As you interact, you still have control as a student to interact, but also there's guidance there through narration. So I thought that that was pretty interesting and beneficial for a student.
Tamasa, thank you for mentioning autonomy is actually very important for students. So as a learner, I feel that I have some control over my learning material. So it's different from passively perceive whatever's thrown to me. I feel that I have that autonomy, and I can actively learn and interact with the content, which make me feel more engaged. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Thank you.
Great to hear. Good to hear. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide here. So the next aspect of the workshop is I'm going to be presenting to you the shooting modes that the camera can actually do. So in addition to just the basic shooting features that the 360 camera has to offer, there is some additional advanced shooting modes that are going to be available to explore. So we picked out 5 shooting modes out of the pack that they essentially can provide, but we picked these 5 because these shooting modes were the modes that are most likely to be used within a classroom. They're also the 5 quickest modes to set up and use, and each mode has a very distinct feature that can be combined with other modes and media to build content for any classroom. So the first one we're going to talk about here, it's called the clone trail. So as you can see here in this image, it appears that there is 5 different women in this image, but realistically, this was shot with the camera and it was only one person. So the idea is that it leaves, as the title says, a trail of clones. So here is a clip on how this video was made. Okay, so this was the clone trail. The next shooting mode is called the freeze frame. So in the freeze frame, it's exactly how it sounds like. It freezes your frame and it essentially makes it go in a slow motion pattern. So as you can see here, I want you to focus in on this video, focus in on the things that are coming down, because that's where the effect is going to be seen the most. So in this instance, pay attention to the dog. Pay attention to her coming down. And look at the leaves coming down in slow motion. Okay, so that was the freeze frame. The next shooting mode that we're gonna be presenting is called the dolly zoom. So the dolly zoom is a pretty unique feature to the Insta360 camera. Essentially what it does is that it allows you to center the person in the middle of the shot, and basically what happens is that the background tends to get closer. So in the next slide, I want you to pay attention to the background. So pay attention to everything that is behind her, and you will see it start moving closer towards us. And there's the effect now. And you'll see them getting closer and bigger, and then it can also zoom back out. So that is called the dolly zoom. So the next mode that we're going to talk about is a mode that we actually spoke earlier about, which is like a tour, right? So this is called the shooting mode is called a fly through, and we saw this with Petra, the video that I showed you with Petra. Essentially what it does, it's just a guided tour of a place. In this instance, it's a house that is being shown. So what you'll see here, it also gives away the illusion that it's being recorded using a drone, where realistically speaking, all that you need is the invisible selfie stick that the Insta360 camera comes with and the camera itself. Okay, so that is the fly through. And the last mode that I'll be showing, it's called a stop motion. So stop motion, as many of you might have seen, is used primarily in movies, animated movies, particularly claymation. Some of the movies I can think of is Coraline, James and the Giant Peach. Some of these movies were shot using stop motion. So in the next slide, you'll see the stop motion in action. And you see how it brings a object that essentially doesn't have life. It brings it to life, right? It gives it that emotion of it's coming to life, something's being created. And that's how stop motion is used here on the Insta360 camera. So for this next video, I want to show you guys this video because in our next workshop, we're going to be providing a hands-on experience for all the participants. So essentially, we'll be bringing you guys in, having you guys test the camera, actually record something. But for that, I'd like to show you just the basic operation. It is a very, very simple operation to use this camera for. So let's take a look.
How to operate your ONE X2. Short press the power button to turn on the ONE X2. Press the shutter button to start recording or take a photo. Short press the power button to turn on or off the touchscreen. Long press for 2 seconds to shut down. Swipe down to change settings. Swipe up to switch modes. Swipe left to adjust parameters. Swipe right to access the gallery. Tap the icon on the center right to switch to the front or rear lens. Tap the icon on the center left to switch lens modes. Tap bottom right to set timer in photo mode. Tap the icon on the bottom left to switch shooting modes. Tap the parameters at the bottom to adjust resolution and FPS.
Perfect. So if you're interested in learning more about the Insta360 camera, you can do these following steps. So you can set up a one-on-one with CETL, and we will take the time to show you how the camera works. We'll explain to you the different modes. We'll also show you, as I mentioned before, the invisible stick or selfie stick that is provided. which also allows you to do different shooting modes with it. The second thing is the second workshop that we will be having on the Insta360 camera will be in hands-on experience, where participants will record a 360 video using the Insta360 camera. That's going to be on Thursday, November 10th from 12:30 to 1:30. And that will be entirely in person, simply given because we want you guys to actually hold the camera, feel the weight of it, see how it is to actually shoot a video using it. And then from there, we will also show you how to share it, how you upload it onto your computer, how you download it, how you ensure that you put the best quality video that you can onto YouTube, which then on YouTube, as many of you might know, it's very, very simple to share a video. And YouTube also gives you that view of that you can use the 360 video then and there, that it gives you the features to turn your videos around. And it's a very quick, very fun workshop and experience that you'll have. The third workshop, we're going to be focusing on the basic editing techniques using the Insta360 application. So this is where we're going to dive in more into the different shooting modes that I showed you, such as the dolly zoom, the clone trail. We'll get really into the depths of these basic editing features. And that's going to be on Thursday, December 1st from 12:30 to 1:30. And that is all.
Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you, Ray, for a great workshop. And thank you everyone for participating today. If you could kindly take 3 minutes to fill out the feedback form, that the link, I have already copy and paste the link in the chat. We really appreciate your inputs. That will help us improve our future offering. And we look forward to seeing you at our hands-on workshops.
Yeah, thank you everyone for participating. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything else that you may think that we can use the camera for,